I'm just grateful that someone, shining star as bright as Ginger, was in my life. Even if it was a short time,
I didn't see anything going on with her at that age. 12, 13, she just seemed really upbeat and happy. And then they moved, and I would still, like I said, stay in touch with her. And I got a call from her once, and she was in treatment. So I talked to her when she was at, I think it was New Beginnings, what was going on with her and what happened. And she struggled in the early years with her sexuality and her gender identity. And so she, I think that's what tipped it. Her dad was a homophobic. So that in the back of her mind was tough for her to deal with. We talked about that, and down the road they ended up having a relationship. Once it finally came out.
So I had a Young Life student. Her and Ginger were best friends, and they got in a lot of trouble, and they would bring alcohol to school, and a lot of drugs, and they're partiers, and wild and crazy girls.
She was never satisfied being a dispatcher. She wanted to be a cop. She made it happen. She worked hard to make it happen, but she knew it wasn't going to be easy getting past her past. But she never hid the fact that she had a past. Never once tried to cover it up or hide it or make light of it was what it was. And she talked a lot about her relationship with her dad and the fact that she struggled as a child, not knowing what she was.
Joy had tried to fill me in on what to expect from Ginger, and I picture somebody named Ginger as Ginger from Gilligan's Island. No. So Ginger was just freaking out when she had put in for cop because she didn't think she was going to get it, of her background. So we talked a little bit about it. It was a joy to me to see somebody that had this background that was putting in for cop, and you were cheering for her through the whole process because, like Joy said, she never hid from you that she'd struggled with substance abuse, and she had beat all those things, and Fort Collins Police had helped her get through that. Now she was going to come back and work for us. And I can remember then the first day that she started, and I'm picturing, Ginger from Gilligan's Island is going to come work for us, and it was Ginger Mose, and it was like, wow. So, and the first time I saw her, it was just like we were the best of friends.
And like most cops do, we park like this in the parking lot at Perkins, and she scared me because she was so serious about her job, and she was so, let's go out and get that bad guy, and let's go right now. And here I'm like 1 week on the job, and I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta work with this girl in my area.
She could be just as intense though, having fun, and we would just be a riot. Just crazy fun. One time we were driving home, driving back to the police department, we were working a big case, and they were building the Justice Center where the new courthouse is and all the courtrooms and stuff. And right up till the bitter end, they had this crane built in the center of the thing. And the crane was all the way through the building. You looked like a complete building, except for there's a crane in the middle. And then at some point they said, "Now dismantle the crane and take it away." But she started looking at that, and she started going off about, I bet the guy who forgot to take the crane out of the building is going to get a bad performance evaluation. And we just started going on about that and had to pull the car over because we were left in slow.
She was pretty much a rock star up in the detective bureau. Yeah, she was a great cop, very caring. Very caring, especially in the Lacey case. Man, she poured her heart into that.
My first experience with Ginger was when she was investigating my daughter's murder. And I called Julie, and she said that I was lucky that Ginger was on the case, that she had a bad bedside manner, but she would not eat meals, lose sleep at night, and wouldn't stop until she found her and until she got the case airtight, and that I was in really good hands. She's very talented, very smart.
She was very tenacious about those cases. She was it's like she, the kid cases, very sympathetic with the kid cases. You could tell she had hurt at one time in her life, and she wanted to stop that for somebody else. Coming from the personal experiences maybe that she had as a kid. Maybe she could sympathize or relate to the victims a little bit more. I don't know, but she just seemed very, very engrossed in her cases. More so than the other people up there. It doesn't, they're not less of a detective because of it, but she just seemed like she really, really got involved in these cases.
I don't know about her personality. She just had this personality and this ability to engage and talk with people that they would just give it all up to her. And she was just, there was nothing you could hide from her. And it wasn't something she learned. It was just her.
At the time, she worked our biggest cases, and there was nobody better when she was on. There was nobody better, nobody more insightful, nobody had more talent. And no matter, the thing about Ginger is she never met a stranger. So she could instantly build a rapport and a bond with the DA, a judge, a witness, a suspect. And I mean, she was in their head just that quick. And that was a gift. It wasn't just that she was a people person. I mean, she was gifted with insight. And that was her strength and probably also her weakness.
The complete opposite of what she'd worked her whole life for. And she was going in a path that she'd spent her whole life trying to eradicate from our community, and that's where she was going with it. So
At the very end, she called me at work one night and she asked me if my house was unlocked. I said, no, I have a lot of expensive things in my house. She said, what time do you get off? I said, well, midnight. And she cussed. And I said, why? What's going on? She goes, oh, I just want to leave you a present. I thought, well, that's odd. So we hung up and I didn't think anything of it. Come to find out, she wanted to get my gun. As it turned out, she did manage to get a gun from a friend. And that's the gun she used to take her life.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. It's I don't think it gets counted in police suicides, that one, and it's a shame because police suicide really is never, I don't think, about the job. It's about how people cope with the job. It's about substance abuse. It's about not getting help from all the stuff that we see. But I mean, I guess I just said it is about the job. But I know that in the end, if I was going to count police suicides, she would be one. And I don't think she probably makes those roles, and that's a shame. The tragedy with her is that she had not the potential for brilliance, not the promise of brilliance, but she was brilliant. And she demonstrated that here for years. She didn't have to build her life and get sober to be great. She was, and then she fell. That's the sad part.